2020 theme looks great and it's easy to use. It's provided by WordPress, not a third party, and it was the default WordPress theme for the year 2020. WordPress provide regular security updates for all of their default themes issued since the year 2010. So it's a safe bet 2020 theme will be maintained by WordPress for many years to come. If you're new to WordPress, or if you're looking for a professional, trouble-free theme, you're in the right place. Let's get started. This is a long video with many sections, so I added timeline stamps or jump links in the timeline bar at the bottom. Just hover your mouse, moving left and right over the full length of the bar, then click to jump to any section that interests you. Hello. To follow along with this tutorial, you will need a clean installation of WordPress. You'll need your main business page titles, such as Home, Services, About, Contact, and Blog. You'll need the actual text or dummy text for your main business pages. You'll need optimized images to use as WordPress featured images, and the images need to be 1980 pixels wide by 1485 pixels high. You'll need any images you want to insert into the body of the pages or posts you'll be making in this tutorial. And if you want to add a logo to the site, the recommended logo size is 240 pixels wide by 180 pixels high. We're going to start with an initial cleanup of the website. So we need to install and activate the 2020 theme. We need to remove the default post and page, and we need to remove the footer widgets. So let's get started. Now, we're going to log into WordPress, and to find your login page for WordPress, you need to type in your domain name, such as mybusiness.com, then you put a / and you type wp-admin, and then you press the enter key on your keyboard, and you'll come to a page that looks like this. Put in your username and your password. And we've come to the WordPress backend. It's the control panel for WordPress. Now, in the top left corner, you've got this little house and the name of your website. If you click that, it toggles between the front end and the back end of your website. So this is your dashboard, your WordPress control panel, because you've got a web hosting control panel and a WordPress control panel. So we're in the WordPress control panel in the dashboard, and if we press this again, we see the front end and the back end. Now, don't click this one, that's the WordPress icon. You want the little house icon. Now, when you install WordPress initially, it will install with the most recent theme. And in our case, I'm making this video in the back end of 2024. So this theme is the 2024 theme. Now, that's not the theme I want to use. So, going back to the dashboard, I want to go to Appearance, Themes. I want to add new theme. I'm going to search for 2020, but it's actually here. This is the theme I'm going to use. But if you can't see it, search for 2020. Now this is showing me all the different WordPress 2020 themes, because there's 2021, 2022, 2023. I want the one that's just called 2020, and at the top it says welcome to the Swedish Museum of Modern Art. So this is the one I want to pick. Now if you want to, you can click the theme details to learn a bit more about the theme, but I know I want that one, so I'm going to install. I now need to activate the theme. And if we go back to view the front of the site, we see the theme has changed. So go back to the dashboard, and I want to delete, there's a post and a page put in by WordPress, and I don't want to use those, so I'm going to go to posts, all posts, and this hello world post, I'm going to click bin. If you've got an American installation of WordPress, it might say trash instead of bin. So now I'll click the bin again because I've got one post in the bin. Hello world, I want to delete it permanently. So first you put it in the bin, then you delete it permanently. I'm now going to go to pages, all pages, and there's a default page put in called sample page. I'm not going to delete the privacy policy, but I am going to delete the sample page. So sample page, bin, and now hover over bin, and I can delete it permanently. Now I also want to delete the widgets that are in the footer widget area. So I go to appearance, widgets. Now the easiest way to do it is to click this little list view, the three little lines there, list view, and then open up footer 1, and I'm going to select everything that's inside footer 1 and delete. Then going to open up footer 2 and select everything that's inside footer 2 and delete. The next thing I want to do is to disable comments, so people can't leave comments on my website, and I want to set the permalinks to post name. Now with permalinks, only change the permalinks if you've got a brand new site. If you've got an established website that Google already knows about, don't change the permalinks, because if anybody's linked to a particular page on your site and you change the permalink, that link will break. So only change the permalinks on a new site, and if you've got an established site, I would leave them alone. So first we'll disable comments. So I want to go to settings, discussion. Oh, I forgot to update, we need to save our changes. So when we remove the widgets, make sure you update the page or save your changes. Now we can go to settings, discussion. Now you've got all these tick boxes that you can enable or disable things. The important one is allow people to submit comments on new posts. Now I do not want them to add comments to posts, so I'm going to untick that one. Now there's a lot of other options that you can choose to tick if you want to. I usually untick most things. Now I've unticked the box that said allow people to submit comments on new posts, so I won't get any comments on this website. If you do choose to have comments on your website, there are some useful options further down at the bottom. One of them is, before a comment appears, a comment must be manually approved. Now, if you do have comments, I recommend, at least to begin with, you tick that box so that you actually get to choose before the comment appears on your website. So it won't appear until you've actually chosen to make it appear, because you do get spam. Your website can soon get swamped with spam comments. So once again, scroll to the bottom, make sure you save the changes. Now the next thing I want to do is to change the permalinks. So in the dashboard, settings, permalinks, there's all these different options. You can have all different types of permalinks. The permalink is the actual link that people would click to go to a particular page on your website. Now, the one I find best is called post name. So if you've got a brand new website, I always choose post name for the permalink structure. If you've got an established website, don't change your permalinks, because it can cause you problems with Google if your website is established and Google knows where all the pages are, then you change the permalink structure. That can confuse Google. But on a brand new website, I always choose permalink structure, post name. Save changes. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to add the pages and the page text for the main business pages of our website. So we need to go to new page, add and name the main business pages of our website. We're going to add a page that's called blog, and I'll show you later how you can make that into a blog. We're going to paste content into the pages using plain text files. We're going to assign home and blog pages, and we're going to assign a special template to the home page called a cover template that looks really nice. Now, the cover template is available for posts and for pages. So let's get started. We're going to make the new pages and type in the text. So we want to go to, when you're logged into the dashboard, you'll see this new here. Now that's the admin bar, and it doesn't matter if you're viewing the front end of the website. The front end is what the site visitor would see, and the back end is what you see when you're editing the website. And either way, you'll see this bar at the top called the admin bar. And in the admin bar, you'll see this new, and we want to add new page. So I'm going to call this one home. I'm going to publish. Now you can save as a draft if you want to. And if you save it as a draft, nobody will see it until you publish the page. It's easier if I just publish as I'm going. So I'm going to click publish to publish the page. You've got to click it twice, and I'm going to view the page. Then I need to click new again, page. This time I'm going to make the services page. Click save. I'm going to view the page, and then new page. I'm going to make the about page, publish, view page. I'm going to make the contact page. Publish, view page, and I'm going to make the blog page. So new page. I'm just going to call this blog, and we'll publish that, and later on I'll explain how you make that into a blog listing page. So I'm going to view the page, and there we are. Now you see this menu at the top. WordPress has automatically created a menu, but it's not in the order we want it to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the menu. So we go to the dashboard. Now you can make menus in the dashboard, going to appearance, menus, but it's easier if you do it using the customizer. So if we go back to the front end, when you're viewing the front end of your website, this is what the site visitor would see. And when you can see that, and you can see the admin bar, you've got this customize button. So I'm going to click customize. And this bar here is the customizer. So I'll look for menus. I want to create a new menu. And I've got 5 options. I've got desktop horizontal, which is a normal menu like this. I've got desktop expanded, which looks like a mobile phone menu where you've got a little icon and you click the icon and the menu opens. This mobile menu, you can have a completely different set of links in the mobile menu if you want to the desktop menu. And we've got a footer menu and a social media menu, which I'll show you about later. So I'm going to create a desktop horizontal menu. I'm going to call it main menu. And click next. So now I can add items to the menu I'm making. And I want to add all of these items. Now, there's one that says custom link. I'm not actually going to add that custom link. What I'm going to add is blog, contact, about, services, and home, which is the home page I made. Now you can drag these up and down to rearrange them. So I want the home at the top. Then I want services. Then I want about. Then contact, and last I'm going to have blog. Now if you want to make a drop down list, you just drag these in like that. And now if you look at this home button here, it's got a little icon that's a down arrow, and that tells you that here you could hover over that and a list would appear. Now I don't want a drop down list, but if you do want a drop down list, that's all you have to do. Drag items underneath one of the links in to the right. So we've published that. Now my menu is in the right order. Now it's got my slides slightly out of sync because I wasn't going to show you that just yet. Now what we're going to do, first of all, I will assign the blog page and the home page. So in the customizer, and what we want is homepage settings. So I pick homepage settings. I'm going to choose a static page. Your homepage displays a static page. And now we can choose the homepage, and we can have for blog post or posts page, we can have blog. I'm going to publish. And now the page that I called home is actually the home page. So people will see that when they land on the site. Now I've got some text that I've written earlier, and I recommend you do this. I've written this in a plain text editor, such as Notepad or Text Edit if you use a Mac. And it's a lot easier if you write the text first and then just paste it into WordPress. So I've written this first, and I'm going to paste it into WordPress. I just need to copy the text. Now, I'm going to close the customizer. I'm going to edit the page. When you're viewing a website, toggle this to see the dashboard or the front end. When you see the front end, or you see what the site visitor would see, go to the page you want to edit. I want to edit the home page, and then click Edit Page. So there's Edit Page here, and there's a little one underneath down here. So I want to Edit Page. And now where it says Type to choose a block, I can just place my cursor there and paste in the plain text that I made using a plain text editor. Now it's important that you use a plain text editor. If you use Microsoft Word, you've got to be very careful about how you save your text, because you don't want a lot of extra styling coming in because it messes up WordPress. So ideally use a plain text editor and just paste plain text from your plain text editor such as Notepad into WordPress. And you want a line break between any paragraphs you're going to use as headlines. So I'm going to use this as a headline, and I've already got a paragraph break between that headline and the next paragraph. So all you need to do is select that headline, click this paragraph icon, and I can change it to a heading. So I'm changing that to a H2. I'm making this one into a H3. And we click this one here, H2, change to a H3. This is a long H4 heading, so just click in the heading, once again, I've got a line break between that paragraph and the others. Heading, and I want to change that to a H4. H5 header, and change it from a H2 to a H5. And finally, we've got this H6 heading. Change it to a heading, and change from H2 to H6. And then I'm going to click the Save button, and then view the page. So now we've got a basic page with some text in it. What I want to do now, I want to add some featured images to my pages. But I don't have any images on the website yet. So if we go to the dashboard, in the dashboard, we can see this tab that says Media. If we go to Media Library, there's nothing there. But there is this button that says Add New Media Files. Now you can drag things from a folder on your desktop into the media library. So if I click this Add New Media File, now what I've done here, I've opened up a file or a folder on my desktop that's got my images in it, and I've got WordPress here. So I've just resized, just drag to resize the thing so you can see both. Now I want to add all of these images into WordPress. So I'm in Media, Library, Add New Media File, and if I just drag these, and they will upload. So I can expand my WordPress again. Now, if you select one of these images, you've got these options here. Now, the most important thing is to add some alternative text, because Google likes alt text. So just type your alt text there. You can also put in a title for the image, a caption for the image, and a description if you want to. Do not change what it says file URL. Do not change that, because that will confuse WordPress and it won't know where to look to find the image. Now, once you've put your alt text describes the image. So this one is woman on telephone. So you would just type in there woman on telephone, and then when Google visits the page, Google can't see the image, but it can read the alternative text, and it knows that this picture is a woman on the telephone. The important point is, for people who are blind or partially sighted, they have a thing called a screen reader, and the screen reader will read out the alternative text. So instead of showing the picture, it will say woman on telephone. Now, when you click through these, all your different images, to put your alt text in, you don't have to click a save button. It will automatically save after you put your alt text. Suppose we put man with dog. And if we go to the next one, if we come back, it's saved it. So you don't need to click a save button, but I highly recommend you put alt text for all of your images. What I want to do now is to add a featured image to my home page. So if we go to, well, what we'll do, we'll go back to the front end of the site. The easiest way to navigate from page to page is using the front end of the website, so you can see what the site visitor would see. And if you're not sure which one you're on, just click the name of your website up here, and it will toggle between the dashboard, the WordPress dashboard, and the front end of your website. I'm on the home page. I want to edit the page. And now I want to set the featured image. So it says set featured image here. Make sure you're not in the block tab, you're in the page tab. And click set featured image. I want to go to the media library. You can upload a new image if you want to, but I want to go to the media library. And my home page image is going to be this one. Set featured image. Now you can't see anything's changed yet. What I'm going to click here is this template. I'm going to change this. It says default template at the moment. I'll show you what the default template looks like and I'll change it and you'll see. So this is what the default template looks like, where you've got your featured image displays under the post title. I want to use for this page, I'm going to edit the page. And for this page, I want to use template. I'm going to change from default template to cover template. And the cover template just adds a nice little, slightly fancier look to the featured image. Now, the other pages and posts I'm not going to change. I'm going to leave them with these other pages and the blog posts. I'm going to leave with the default page template. But you can use the cover template on any page or post that you want to, except for the blog listing page. It won't work on the blog listing page, but all the other pages and posts you can use it on. It works on individual blog posts if you want to add it there. So I'll add the rest of the featured images. View the page you want to add a featured image to, edit page. Make sure you're in the page tab, set featured image, and this is services. So we'll put the cafe, it's one of the services of our. I'm going to leave it as a default template. Click save, view page, and there's our featured image at the top. While we're here, I'm going to paste in the text. So I've got edit page. From this top paragraph, just place my cursor there and I can paste the text in. Doing that for the other pages. So I've got the about page, edit page, paste the text in, save, and then I'm going to edit the page again. I'm going to be in the page tab, set featured image, and I'm going to add an about image. Like this one. So that will now display using the default template at the top of the screen. So that's the about page. And the contact page. Now you might not want to have a featured image on this one, and you might want to have different text to the ones I've been using, but I'll just paste it in anyway, and then we've got we can see what's going off. I'm pasting in the text, save. Now I'm going to just click this page button because we've got block and page. So I click page, then we can see the featured image. I'm going to set that. On the contact page, I've got an image I want to use, which is the woman on the telephone. So if you contact us, this is the woman who will speak to you. I can save, view page, and there we have. If you contact us, This is the one where we'll speak to you, and there's a bit of information underneath. Now the blog page, we set that previously using the customizer, and if we make any blog posts they will appear here. But the way the blog page works is you make a page called blog, and then you just, in the customizer, you go to home page settings, and then you can pick the page that appears on the home page and the page that is the posts page, or the blog listing page. And we call the page blog, and when you choose that one, that's the page that will list the blog posts. Now, I've added the main business pages to this website, but I haven't added any blog posts to the blog listing page. What I'm going to do now is make a category to put the blog posts in, and then I'm going to make blog posts that will list in the blog page. So I need to go to Dashboard, and now if I hover over posts, I'll get this categories option here, and you can name your category whatever you want. I'm just going to call this one industry news. If I leave this blank, WordPress will fill it with the name of the category. If you want to, you can put a description in here. Now, depending on the theme you're using, this description might or might not display on the blog listing page or the category listing page. So I'm going to add that as a new category. If we look down here now, we've got this industry news category. If we view the page, at the moment there's nothing in this category. So I'm going to add some new blog posts. Making a new blog post is very similar to making a web page. In the admin bar, I hover over new. This time I'm going to choose post instead of page. So I'm choosing new post, and you type in your post name. I place my cursor where it says type to choose a block, and then I paste in the text I wrote in my plain text editor, just the same as we did with the web pages. If you want to change the headlines, put your cursor in a paragraph, click the paragraph icon and choose heading. I'm going to add a featured image to this page. First of all, I'm going to publish, just so I can see what we're doing. View the post. There's our blog post. Now, I'm going to edit the post. I'm going to add a featured image. Now, I'm going to keep the default template. If you want to, you can change the template to a cover template. There's also a full width template option, which if you're using something like Elementor, you might want to use a full width page template. I'm going to leave it as default for this particular blog post. Save. Now where it says category, expand that, and it's currently in uncategorized. I'm going to put it into the category that we made, which was the industry news category, and then it will be listed under the industry news category when anybody visits that category. And save the post, view, and if we go to this industry news category, this is the category listed here. The blog post is there. If we view the category, we've got the category name, industry news, and the description of the category. When we made the category, it says add a description, and this is the description we added. I'm going to add some more blog posts. So I need to go to new post, not new page, new post. Name the post. Paste in the text. Add a featured image. To add the featured image, now we're now in the block tab here, but we need to be in the post tab. Then we can see the featured image option. I just put any old featured image in just to show you what we're doing. This time I'll change it to a cover template just so you can see. So I've changed it from a default template to cover template. I'm going to select the category of industry news. You can make as many categories as you want. I'll click publish, publish. Then we'll click this button that says view post. Go to the blog. Now this is how it displays in the blog, and there's also the category listing page. So this is the category listing page. We click the post. We see this new version here using the cover template. Now, when you're making blog posts, they've got an extra feature that pages don't have. So if we edit this post, now make sure in the post tab, not the block tab, you want to be in the post tab, and right underneath the featured image there's this little text link. It says add an excerpt. So if we click that, you can put like a subheading for your main heading. Put a little subheading in there. So click save. Now we'll have a look at the view the post. You can view the post down here. And now we can see this where it says this is the excerpt underneath here. I'll add one more blog post. So when we see the admin bar, and you see the admin bar both in the back end of the dashboard. See, it's still there, new post, and you can use it in the what's called the front end when you're viewing the site. So it's called new post. Type in your title. Paste in your text. Click the post tab, not the block tab, the post tab. Set your featured image. You don't have to have a featured image if you don't want to. I'm just adding featured images so you can see how to do it. So add a featured image. Add an excerpt. To choose the category of industry news. If you can't see the category, just open the tab. I'm going to leave this one as a default template. You can change that if you want to. And I'm going to publish. Publish. You've got to click publish twice. View the post. And there's our post with our excerpt. Now, if we look at the blog listing page, these blog posts are being listed as full posts. And what we want to do is just to list the little bit of teaser text. So what we're going to do now, if we go to the customizer, so in the admin bar at the top, you can only see the customizer when you're viewing the front end. So if we were viewing the dashboard, you can't see the customizer. Although if you can still get to the customizer in the dashboard by going to Appearance, Customize. So if you're in the dashboard, go to Appearance, Customize. And if you're viewing the page as your site visitors would see it, then it's in the admin bar. So we've got to Customize. So in the customizer, we want the tab that says Theme Options. And there's this option where it says, on archive pages, posts show full text or summary. And we're going to show the summary of the text. Click Publish. Close the customizer. Go to the blog page. And now we've got the title, the featured image, and this is the excerpt that we typed in by hand. So title, featured image, and the excerpt. And this is just telling you which category the blog post is listed in. If we go to the category, it's slightly different layout because it's got this category section at the top telling you which category it is. So the blog listing layout is slightly different to the category listing layout. Now earlier I showed you how to make the navigation bar, but you can also add a footer navigation and you can add social media links in the footer navigation bar. Now all you need to do, first of all, I'll make a footer nav bar and we can go to the customizer, menus. If I choose this menu, I can add this menu to the desktop horizontal menu, which is up here, which is the way it is now, but I can also put it in the footer. So I tick the footer box. If you want to, you can make a completely independent footer menu and put that in the footer. So you can have one menu at the top and one menu in the footer. So we scroll down. Under the content, there's a footer menu. And if we toggle that off, the footer menu disappears. Now, as well as the footer menu, the footer menu displays on the left, but on the right you can put some social media icons. So we need to make a new menu. Go back to menus, create new menu, I'll call this one social. So I don't forget where I've put it. I'm going to display in the social menu. So remember what you've called it. Tick the tick box to place it in the social menu location. Click next. And now we can add links. So add items. And what we want this time is custom links. We're not putting pages in, we're putting custom links. All you need to do is go to your Twitter page or your Facebook page, your social media page, copy the URL and you paste it in where it says URL, paste the URL in there. And for the text to link, just put the name of the social media platform. So this one is Twitter, or it's called X now, but this is Twitter. Add to menu. So now we've got this one. And I've got a Facebook page here that's the WordPress Facebook page. I want to add that one. Copy. And so add new item. Paste in there URL. Just type Facebook. And click add to menu. click publish. We can close the customizer, and now when we scroll down, we've got the footer menu on the left and social icons on the right. If you click the icon, it'll take you to the WordPress Twitter account or the WordPress Facebook account. Now, so far we've made simple web pages with text, paragraphs and headlines. What we're going to do next, we're going to make some fancy layout blocks like these. And to do that, we use blocks. WordPress uses blocks to add content to your pages. So this is a heading block. This is a paragraph block. This one here is a media and text block. To add new blocks to your page, click any block that's there already, such as this one. Click this 3 dots options button, and that gives you the option of add after or add before. Or if you're in a paragraph, just press the enter key and you'll have a new line where you can add a block. Now you can either just type a / and that will give you some of the blocks that you've used most commonly, or if you put your cursor where it says type to add block, place your cursor, then click this blue plus icon. It's called a block inserter, and you get a list of blocks. Now I'm going to use the media and text block. So we scroll down where it says media and text, just click that block and it's inserted into the page. Now I want an image from the media library, and this is the image I used. So select that image. I need some content. So where it says content, I just either type or paste in my text. Now if you look how narrow this is, the block we're copying is much wider. So I want to make that wider. So if we click the select parent block here, it says for media and text, and we've now got this option where it says align, and I want it to be wide width. I'm going to add some content above this block, so I'll just click this block, options, add before, now I want to change that to a headline. So when it says paragraph, that will take you right back to the media and text block. We want to go to the paragraph block. We can change the paragraph block to a heading, and if we want to, we can change that to a heading 3. Now below this paragraph, I want to add a button. So this time, instead of choosing options, add after, I'm just going to type after the paragraph, press the enter key, and I can either add a button through this option here. I could search for button. It says search, and I've got the button block there. Or I can just type a / and then type button, and that will give me the option to add button. Just type what I want to call my button. If you want to add a link, you might well want to add a link to your button. Just select the text and then click this little link icon and you can add your link there. Now I want to change, this image is too big, so I'm going to click the image and I can just drag to make the image smaller until it's about the size I want it to be. Now in the right hand sidebar, we've got some options. If you can't see this sidebar, click this little option here. And we've got settings and styles. So first, I'm going to do the settings. I'm going to stack on mobiles so that on mobile phones the picture will appear, it will stack above the text. We can crop the image to fill the block, and I want to do that. You can change the focal point, so what you want people to see if there's only a bit of the image shows. So I want to see the dog and the man. Now I'm going to change the style. I'm going to change the background colour of the median text block, just having a little bit darker where the block is. If you want to, you can change the size of the text and the colour of the text if you want to. I'm just going to look at that in a web browser and see if I like it. So click Save. Now there's this icon here that says View Page. You can also click this one that says View Page here. This one will open the page in a new browser window. So that's the original, and that's the one we've made ourselves. We'll move on to the next block. I'll close that. So the next block is, now this one's a bit more fancy. To see how I made this block, I'm going to use List View. So where you see the three little lines, it's called List View. So I click that and it gives you a list of all the blocks on your page. So if I select the block I want to use, I want to learn about, it's this one. Now I've got a group block that's grouped a set of other blocks inside it. Then inside the group block, I've got the headline, I've got some columns, and at the bottom, I've got a buttons block. So, got headline, columns, button. And the columns are also nested. So I've got first column, second column, third column. And each column has got an image, some text, paragraph. And that's a paragraph that's just a link, a text link. So the important point is these things are made from different blocks, nested and grouped together. So let's make a copy of this. The first thing I need to do, I'm going to scroll down. I'll put my new block just underneath this one. So first I need to make a new line where I can add a new block. So I can either press the Enter key after that headline, or I can choose Add After. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add several blocks and I'm going to group them together. So first I'll add a headline. So type a paragraph and then I convert the paragraph to a heading. I'm going to make the heading a H3. Below the heading, I want a columns block. So to do that, I can either use this blue inserter, and where my cursor is, when I add the blue inserter, I can add the block I want. So I want columns block. Now it gives me different options. I want 3 columns in a row. Then I can insert things inside those columns. Now if we click this one here, the parent block, I can change the width. I'm going to make it wide width to make it easier to put things inside it. Click the plus icon and let's put an image in that block. I can choose an image from the media library. I'll start with this one. Now you can set the size of the aspect ratio of the image. So I want the aspect ratio to be 16:9. Underneath the image, I'm going to put a little headline. So add after. And I can see that's now a paragraph, but I can change it to a heading, and I want the heading. Click the wrong button there. Make sure you click the H2. I want to change it from a H2 to a heading 4. Still a bit big, so I'm going to make it smaller. Heading 5. No, making it heading 6. That'll do. Now below the heading, I'm going to add a paragraph. So click after the heading, add after. It's easier most of the time just to click after the heading, press the enter key, and then you can type a new paragraph. And after that paragraph, I just want to add a short paragraph with a text link. So just press enter and you can type some text. Now to make that into a link, all I need to do is highlight the text, then click this link option, and you can type in there the URL. So it might be www.google or any other URL. I want to make this text link text into a real link. So all I need to do is highlight the text and we click this icon here to add the URL. I'll show you how to do that. If you go to the web page, you want to add the link. So I want to add a link to Google, so I copy the URL, then in my web page, highlight the text, click link, paste in the URL, make sure you click this submit button, and there the text link has been added. Now you add the content of the other 3 columns in the same way, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy that content and paste it into the other columns. So I'm going to open list view, I'm going to copy the content, then in the other columns I can just paste. So I start with a paragraph block. And when I see a paragraph block, I can paste things in. So that's the second one. And I'm going to paste into the third column. Add a paragraph block. And then I can paste. What I want to do now, I'm going to collapse that columns block in the list view to make it easier to see. So this is the columns block. And below the columns block, I want to add a button. So I click options, add after, and where the cursor is blinking, I can type a / and type button. And that gives me the option to add buttons there. So click button, type the button text, I add the link in the same way. So my button is selected, I click this link icon and I just paste in the link I want to link to, which is Google. Make sure you click the submit arrow. I'm going to save and I'm going to show you what we do next. Now what I want to do, I want to add a background colour to that whole area. And to do that, I group the blocks. So I've got from this block down to the buttons block. So I select all 3 blocks, and then if I click the 3 dots options button, one of the options is group. So now all of those blocks are grouped together. I'll just center this button before I forget. So I've selected the button, and this option it's called justifying center. Right, so back to the group. I now want to add a background color. So with the group block selected and all the things inside it, go over to the block tab here. I'm going to change the background color. Now I want this group block to span the full width of the page. I'll just show you how it looks at the moment. Now I'm not going to click this button down here that says view page. I'm going to click this one up here that says view page, because that will open this page in a new window, or a new tab. So that's the original, and this is what we've got so far. But I want to make this one span the full width like this one does. So to do that, I click the group block and I change it to align full width. Save. This time I'm going to click the button down at the bottom that says view page. I'll scroll down. That's the original. And this is the one we've just made. Now I want to edit the page again. So I'll click edit page. Sometimes the blocks will be too close together. So what I'm going to do here, I want this paragraph to have some space above it. So I'll select the paragraph, add before, and I'm going to use a spacer block. So I can either, once the cursor is in the page, I can either use the blue button to find the spacer, and I could just type spacer there to try and find a spacer. There's a spacer block. Or when your cursor is in the page, you can type a /, and I've already used the spacer on another page I was building, so it pops up here. I'm going to choose spacer, and you can just change the height of the spacer, or you can go over here and just choose what you want it to be. Now if you just put 1 pixel, it will add the space that you would see between a normal paragraph, and that's what I want. So I'm going to click save. If that's not what you want, just move the slider to change the height of the spacer. So click save. I'm going to view the page, and when we look underneath the block we've just made, we've just got about a paragraph space there. What we're going to do now, we're going to make this little call out box. I'm going to edit the page again. Scroll down. So make a box like this. I need a space to put that block in. So after a paragraph, press enter. I'm now going to use a group block with a headline inside it and a button. Type / group. I'm going to have a single column, add a block inside that column. I want a heading, then just type or paste in your text. And below that I want a button, so I press the enter key or add after. It's easier to just press the enter key most of the time. I want a button, so I'll type / type button, type my button text, add the link as we did before for the URL. I'll just put a £sign in there just to, like, as a placeholder. But you would type your button text. You would add your button link text there. Now I need a background colour and I want to make this wide. So the first thing I need to do, I'm going to change the colour of this button. So select the button and make sure we've got the sidebar open. Select style. I'm going to change the background colour to, I'll have a black button. Now I want to edit this group block. So if I click anywhere in there and there's this icon at the side, that's the heading icon, but this is the parent block. And so I want to click that, and now I've got the option to make it a different width, and I want it to be full width. I'm going to add a background colour. Now when you add a background colour, WordPress will automatically change the text colour to make it readable with that background colour. That's a specific thing to this particular theme, because I'm using the 2020 theme, and that's how this particular theme is coded. Not all themes do that. So now if I click the text, because this is a headline, if it was a paragraph I couldn't change the width, but because it's a headline I can change the width. I'm going to make that wide. I want the headline to be centered, so align center. I want the button to be centered, and this one we use this icon. It's change justification, and I'm going to justify center, save, and we'll view the page. Now that's the original, and this is the one we've made. Now you see this paragraph is too close, so I'm going to add a spacer above it. So I edit the page again, scroll down to the call out box I made. Now you can't see here that it's too close, but it is. Now you see this option here. When you see that, you can add a block. So that's an even easier way to add blocks between two existing blocks. I'm just going to place my cursor there, press the enter key, and there I can type a / and then, because I've used the spacer block before, it's listed here. I'm going to add a spacer, and I'm just going to add 1 pixel, which normally adds about 1 paragraph space. And so I'll click save, and we'll see if that's worked. View the page, scroll down to the second call out box, and now we've got the space below the box and above the paragraph. Now what I want to do next is to add this block. So I'll edit the page again, scroll down to see the original, and what we've got here, I'll open list view. We've got a cover block with a headline, a paragraph, and a button. So to reproduce that, what I need to do is to add a cover block to the page. So underneath this paragraph, press the enter key to add a new block, type the /, and I want a cover block. Now you can either just search for a cover block by typing it in here, or we can use the block inserter. So when your icon is in the page, click the blue inserter button, and we want the cover block. Now you can either just scroll down and look through all the blocks, there's the cover block, or you can search for it. If you know what it's called, search for it. Another way you can search is, if you know you want to add a block that uses images, you could just search for image, and it will show you blocks that use images. So there's the cover block. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, so I searched for image. Then I thought, aha, that's it. I want to show a cover block. Choose that one. Choose an image from the media library, or you can upload a new image if you want to. And I want the cafe image. Select. Now, the cover block can be full width. So if we click this parent block, align, I'm going to set it full width. And inside we've got text. So it says, write your title here. We had to visit our cafe. Underneath that, we can type a bit of text. I'm just going to copy and paste that to save time. So place your cursor at the end of that paragraph, press the enter key, type your text. I'm going to center that text. I'm going to change this to a heading. Now you can change the size of that text if you want to over here, because this is a special heading that's inside the cover block, so it's not as big as your normal heading. You can either choose from sizes here. If you click this custom size option, you can increase the size. Now I want it to look not too big, so that it will be, I don't want it to be too big to display on mobile phones. So increase the size of that, typed in my text here. I'm going to place the cursor at the end of that, press enter, and I'm going to add a button. So the same way as I did before, just type a / button. Type your text. And add the link the same way you did before. Click this icon and paste in the link, so it's google.com or whatever. Now I want to align that to the center, so I've selected the button, justify center. I'm going to change this. This is a normal button, but in the styles, you can change the border radius. If you watch the corners of the button, you can make the corners more rounded or less rounded. But what I want to do, I want it to be an outline. And I've changed the text color. It changed the color of the button. Now, the image, I want to be a bit darker. So I'm now editing the cover block. So if you're editing a headline, click the parent block, which is the cover block, and you can choose the focal point. So if on a smaller screen, what will it be that people see? So choose the focal point, and if you go to the style, I can change the color of the overlay. Now usually if you take a black overlay, it gives a clearer image, and you can change the opacity if you want to, so more or less of the image shines through. 50 is a good option. Click save, view the page, and we scroll down. There's the original. And there's the new cover block that we've just added. I'm going to add content to the footer of the website. So if we scroll down, at the bottom we don't have any footer content yet. So I need to go to the customizer. So click customize. Widgets. And there's footer 1 and footer 2 widget areas. Now I need some content to type in there or paste in there. I'm just going to paste it in to save a bit of time. So just open footer 1 widget area and there's a block. So I'm just going to add a block there. I'm going to use a paragraph. And I'm just going to paste in the text. I'm going to change this to a heading. Change to a heading 3. And I'm going to make this bold text, just so people don't miss it. Publish. Go back to the customizer. Footer 2. Need some more text. To save me the time of typing it all out. Add a block. I want a paragraph block. I'm going to paste in the text. And I'm going to make this into a heading 3. So paragraph, convert to a heading, change that to a heading 3. I'm just going to make these bold. And publish. Now the first time you use these widget areas, you might get a little pop-up just saying you can put widgets in these widget areas. Just click OK and it will allow you to add content to your widget areas. So if we now go back, close the customizer, scroll down to the bottom, and we've got content in the first widget area and content in the second widget area. "2020 theme" uses text for the site title here. Now you can add a logo if you want to, but if you do add a logo, remember that you have dark text here. And if you're using the cover template on any of your pages, you've got light text there. Now, the reason that matters is you can only add one logo. So if the text is dark, it might not appear on some of the pages. I'll show you what I mean, and then it'll give you a better idea. First of all, I'm going to go to the customizer. And if you can't see the customize button here, then just go to dashboard, appearance, customize. Now if we go to site identity, we can set a logo. Now it says suggested dimensions 120 by 90. If you add a double size logo, it will use that as a retina ready logo, and so it'll look better on very high resolution monitors. So you can make your logo either 120 by 90 pixels or 240 by 180 pixels. Now, I'm going to use this logo here with white text. Let's see what happens when I use that logo. I'm going to skip cropping because I'm using a thing called a local host and it can't crop images. Right, so there's the white logo. But on the default page templates, we've got a white background. So now we've got a white logo with a white background. So you've got to think very carefully whether or not you need to use a logo. If you do add a logo and you've got these cover templates on some pages and you've got the default template on other pages, what you could do, I'll change the logo. you could have a logo with a background colour. So now what we've got is a logo with a background colour, but as you can see, that's not ideal. Normally your logo would use a thing called a transparent PNG, but the background of the logo would be transparent, so you could see the background through it. Now, this will work if your logo is suitable to be placed in a box like that. The good part about this is when you go to one of the default pages, you can still see the logo. So that's something you've got to bear in mind. If you're going to add a logo to your page, you can only have one logo. You can't have a logo for these cover templates and a different logo for the default templates where you've got a white background. Now you can also add a site icon. So if we go to Site Identity, there's this option here, Site Icon. And the site icon is the icon that appears here. Now I can't add one of those on this video because I'm using a thing called a local host, and the local host won't let me upload. It's an image type called an ICO image. It's like instead of a JPEG, it's called an ICO. So it would be site icon.ico. But that's how you would do it. And if you do upload a double-sized image, tick the box that says Retina logo. And if you're not using a logo, I'll remove the logo. So we've got the text, site name. You might want to put a tagline at the side of your site title. So you've got a site title and the tagline. If you want to put a tagline in, put it there. And we got to that by going to the customizer, site identity, tagline, and logo, and site icon. Inserting blocks into your WordPress web page. When you edit your page, you can insert a lot of different blocks into the page. So first, place your cursor where you want the block to appear. Now you can either type a / and then you'll see a list of the blocks you've used most recently. If the block you want to use is not there, you can search for it by typing the name of the block. If I wanted to add a heading block, I would type a / when I see my cursor flashing and I see type a / to choose a block. Just type a /. If the block you want to use is not there, you can search for it. So suppose I wanted to use the quote block, I could just type quote. And it will bring me all the options that are to do with quotes. And then you just click the block and it gives you a dialog box where you can add the content you need to add. Now I've changed my mind, I don't want to add a quote. So when the block is active, click the 3 dots and I can delete that block. Now another way to do it is to just put your cursor in the page. When you see type / to choose a block, click the blue button here, and that gives you a list of all the blocks. Now, it's organized with text at the top, then media blocks, then design blocks, and you've got loads of others. You've got widgets and theme blocks and embeds. But this is a basic video, so I'm just going to show you how to do these, which are the text, media, and design. Just look through the available blocks and find things you think you might want to use, such as heading, paragraph, a pull quote, an image, or a gallery. And as you hover over the different options, a little tooltip will appear at the side, giving you more idea of what that block is. So this is a cover block. You can add an image or video with a text overlay. The paragraph block is the basic building block of all narrative. Headline, introduce new sections and organize content. So just hover and you'll see a basic idea of what that block does. So once your cursor is in the page, blue option here, and then you just pick a block to add to the page. So suppose I want to add this one, or media and text. Click that, and then it asks me for an image. I've got some images in my media library. If I wanted to, I could upload new files. I'm going to use this picture. Select. Now I can put text in here. So I'm just going to paste in some text. That's a bit much. What I want to do first though, is you click this icon here, select the parent block, because I'm now using this paragraph block. But if I select the parent block, then I get some options, and I want to change this to wide width. So now it looks different. It's still too much text, so I'm going to get rid of some. And I want to put a headline above this paragraph. So all I need to do, select the paragraph and add before. Change that to a headline. So with the paragraph selected, transfer to headline, and I want it to be a smaller headline. Then if I want to put something below, just put my cursor at the end of the paragraph, press the enter key, and I could add a button. Now this time, instead of using the inserter here, I know what I want, so I'm just going to put a / button. And there, just click the buttons and it adds a button. Type in your text, and you can add a link. I want to align it in the center. Now, there's several places to look for settings. So when a block is active, you'll see the settings for that block. Now the block settings are context sensitive, so it will change depending on which block you choose. If I choose the button block, I've got these settings. So you can just hover over a setting and it'll give you a bit more of an idea of what the setting does. You've also got the settings in this sidebar. Now, if you can't see this sidebar, toggle the sidebar. This is the WordPress settings sidebar. So toggle that open or closed. Then you've got the page settings, and you've got the settings for the active block. So we want the settings for the active block. This button block has got extra settings. So it's got the settings tab and it's got the styles tab. So make sure you choose both options and see what's available. So if we want to make that button wider, we can make it 50% wide. In the styles tab, we could change it to an outline, or we could have it filled. We could change the radius, the border radius, to add a bit of a corner on the buttons. We can change the size of the text. You can either just choose a bigger text, or you can actually type in the size that you want. And if you don't want to do that, just clear it and it'll go back to its original. Now, look carefully for these. I'll just turn that off. Look carefully for these 3-dot buttons. In WordPress, you'll see quite a lot of these little 3-dot options buttons, and they give you more options. So if you click that button, it'll give you more options. So you could change the letter spacing and the letter case. So just click around around and find settings that you might want to change. We can change the background colour. So suppose we wanted a black button, we can change the colour, or we can just pick any colour that we want. I'm going to go back to that red colour. So I just click where it says clear. I want to clear the colour I chose, which will go back to the default colour for the buttons. But the important point is to click around and see what's available. This where it says crop image to fill, that's a really useful option which makes the image fill the full size of the box. So I'm going to turn that one on. I also want to add some background colour to that media and text block. So I'm choosing this one from the readily available options, but if you want to, you can pick any colour that suits you. We're currently viewing the page in the WordPress editor. Now, this is almost the same as the site visitor will see it, but it's not quite the same. And if you want to see it as the site visitor would see it, when you save here, if you've made some changes, click save, and down in the bottom corner you'll see this little black box. It says view page, and that will toggle from the editor page to view in the web browser. So this is what the end user would see. I'll go back. So I'm going back to edit page. Now, another way you can do that is to click this icon here. It says view page. Now this will open the page in a new tab. So if we click that one, it's opening in a new tab. So we can see the page there. And this is what the end user would see. Close that. And you've also got this view in different devices. So if I wanted to see what it would look like on a mobile phone, it's an emulator that will make it look pretty much how it would on a mobile phone. It's not perfect, but it gives you some idea. Or on a tablet. And the way this image is filling the whole box, that's because I chose the setting when I added the media and text block. I chose crop image to fill, and if you choose that one, when you view it on a tablet, this image will fill the whole media and text block. We'll have a quick recap because inserting blocks is the main thing you're going to do when you're building pages. So first we need to select any block that's in the page. If you use this icon, you can see which block you're dealing with. I want to insert above this one, so add before. I've now got a place where I can either type a / and choose a block, or I can use the block inserter, this blue icon, to choose a block. I want to add a paragraph. Now to add a paragraph, all you have to do is type in there. You don't have to add a block. It is already a paragraph block. So I'm going to type some text. I'm going to change a bit of that to a headline. So once you've got a paragraph in the page, you can change to a limited number of other blocks. So I'm going to change this one to a heading. Don't want it to H2, I want a smaller heading, H3. Once you've got the block in the page, you'll want to change the settings. So if I choose a block, I've got the toolbar above the block, and if I hover over an icon, it will tell me what the icon does. And then I've got the block settings in the right hand sidebar, and if you can't see it, toggle it on. Make sure you're not in the page settings, you're in the block settings, and the settings are context sensitive, so they change for the different blocks, whichever block is selected. And some blocks have got settings and styles. Make sure you click the 3 dots to see what other options are available. And if you want to change the text, you can click this little custom icon. Instead of just choosing from these different sizes, you can add your own options here. And when you've got the page the way you want it, click Save, and then in the bottom left corner, click View Page. That takes you from the edit screen to what they call the front end, which is how the end user will see it. I'll go back to Edit Page. Now, if you miss that little box there and you still want to see what it looks like in the front end, you can click this button here. And to see what it looks like in a mobile phone or a tablet, you can use this button. Now, there are a lot of blocks available, and so if I was you, I would just use this block inserter, at least until you get used to it, and just scroll down, look through all the blocks available, just find something you think might be useful and just have a go. And if you've an idea of what you're doing, you can search in there for, say, a heading or a list or whatever. And one extra tip, while the cursor is in the page, we'll choose this block inserter, then choose patterns, and you'll notice in the 2020 theme there are some 2020 patterns. So suppose you want this block, just add it to your page. It's ready made. Then you can customize the text or the button, whatever you want. I'm going to add an image gallery to my page using the gallery block. So when I'm logged in and editing the page, I place my cursor. I'm going to place it above this paragraph, add before, and then I can either type a / and search for gallery. When I see the gallery option, I can click that to insert it into the page. Or with my cursor on a new line in my page, I can use the block inserter to search for the gallery block, which is here. Or you could search for it in here and just click the block to insert it into the page. Now, I've got some images in my media library, so I'm going to use those. I could upload new ones if I wanted to. I've got some already, so I'm going to use images from the media library. I just select the images I want to use. Click Create New Gallery. Now I can rearrange the images. So if I wanted to put this one here, I can just drag it there. I'm going to insert the gallery. Now I've changed my mind and I want to add this gallery below the paragraph. So if I select any image in the gallery, I've got the toolbar here, which appears when you select an image. Now I don't want to change the image, I want to change the gallery itself. So I select an image, then I choose this Select Parent block. Now the gallery itself is selected, and if I use this little down arrow, I can move it below that paragraph. The next thing I want to do is change the width of the gallery. And with the gallery selected, I don't want to select an image, I want to select the gallery. I'm going to choose Align Wide. Now if I want to, I can change the captions. If you don't have a caption there, if you don't have any captions already in your images, you can use this button here. But it says caption, so select your image, click this button, and then you can add a caption. Now if we look at this, I'll save the page and we'll look at that in a web browser. Now when we click the images, nothing happens. So I'm going to choose what happens when we click the images. So I'll edit the page again. So if I select any of the images, click the parent block, which is gallery block. Now, over in the right hand sidebar, if you can't see the sidebar, just click this little sidebar option. I've got this link to choice. Now I can choose none, media file, or none. Now this attachment page is depreciated. It's not, if you got the most modern version of WordPress, attachment pages are no longer available. So if I choose media file, that will open the actual image. If I choose none, nothing will happen when we click. So first of all, we'll choose this media file. I'll save that. And we'll view the page. So now what happens, if I click one of the images, it just shows me the image, and if I click again, it will expand it to its full size. You use the back key to go back to the page. So I'm going to edit the page again and show you another option. What I actually want to do is to open the images in a thing called the lightbox. Now with the lightbox settings, you've got to do this image by image. You can't do it. The previous one we just did, we did using the gallery block, and I set them all in one go by choosing this link to option in the sidebar. What I'm going to do now is select individual images. I'm going to click the link button, and because I've already set it via the sidebar, I'm getting this option here. So here I can choose expand on click. What I'll do, I'll go back to the gallery block. I'll set it to none. Save. And now what I can do, if I click a single image, there's nothing, this is not set. The link is not set. So click the link. If I want to, I could link that image to google.com or to another page on my website, any page on the internet. I could type the URL in here. So I'll just do that and then we can see what we're doing. I'll get a URL to paste in there and then you can see what I mean. So I'll go to google.com, copy the URL, when I've got the URL, I just paste it in there. Click this apply button. And if I want to, I can open that link in a new tab. Now the second image, what I want to do, I want to open it in the lightbox. So I select the image, click the link icon, and I want to expand on click. The next one I'm going to expand on click, select the image, expand on click. Choose another one. So select the image, click the link icon, and I'm going to link to the image file. And this one I'll do the same, link to image file. So select the image, link to image file. So I'll save that and we'll have a look and see what we've got now. We'll click the images and see what effect the settings have had. So this one, we linked it to Google web page. So that opens Google web page. You could open any web page you want, paste whichever URL you want in that box. This one opens, it's called the lightbox, but it's just an easy way to view your images larger. And this one. And then the bottom two, we set to link to the image file. And if you click again, it'll show you the full size image. Click the back arrow to go back to your page. Same with this one. If we edit the page again, remember, I select an image. Remember that you can edit, I'm editing an image, that's one image, but you can edit the gallery, select parent block, which is the gallery. And when you've got the gallery selected, you can link to media file which will set for all the images in the gallery, or you can select a single image and set it one at a time. And when you do that, you can use this expand on click option, or you can use the URL option. You can paste a URL in there, click the insert button or apply button, and you can set each image to whichever option you want. And the options are link to image file, that's showing you a big version of the picture, expand on click, which shows you a smaller but easier to open light box picture, or you can type your URL in there and apply. Now at the moment we've got 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, but we've got 5 images. So what happens, we chose 3 columns to display, but because there's 5 images, WordPress has built this gallery to give us 3 columns when we've actually got 5 images. So it's decided for itself how to make the layout. We can change the number of columns that we want to use. So if we choose the parent block, which is gallery, and then we come over to columns over here, instead of 3 we could have 4, and then it makes a different layout. If we had 5, well, we can't have 6 because we don't have 6 photos. But the idea is you can change the number of columns and WordPress will make the best layout it can with the images it has available. And that's in the settings sidebar. There's also a styles sidebar, and the only style option is the background colour, which just puts the colour of the background there to change colour. And if you can't see the options here, make sure that you're choosing the gallery block and you're in the block, not page, in the block tab. And you've got the complete gallery, which we can set that to 3 columns if we want to, and we've got individual images inside the gallery. So we've got individual images, they've got one lot of settings, and the gallery block has another lot of settings. This one is a duotone filter, which I'm not particularly keen on, but some people like it. You can just change the overlay colour. Not really my cup of tea, but there you go. Some people might like it. And when you've made your changes, don't forget to click Save to save your changes. Now, occasionally you'll discover that WordPress needs updating. So you see this little icon here, this tells you that there's an update available. So if we go to the dashboard, we can see here it says updates. So it's in dashboard, home, updates. And if we click this, or if we click that, it will take us to the updates. This page will list any updates that are available. Now, I always update themes, the plugins, WordPress. If there's an update available, I apply the update because it can help keep your website more secure. Now, we've got the latest version of WordPress, but there's one plugin that needs updating. It's this one. So I just select the plugin I want to update, or I can select all, and just click Update Plugins. And it's updated the plugin for us. So if we go back to the updates page, we've now got the latest version of WordPress, and my themes, plugins and translations are all up to date, as is WordPress. We have the current version of WordPress. It's worth keeping an eye on your updates section to make sure that you don't need to apply any updates to keep your website secure. Logging out of WordPress. When you've finished working in WordPress, whether you're in the front end or the dashboard, you'll always see this option here. It says your username. Hover over that, click log out. It will log you out of WordPress. So if anybody pinches your computer, they won't know your password unless you've saved it somewhere and your website's safe. So always log out of WordPress when you've finished editing your website. Well, we've come to the end of the video. 2020 theme is an excellent theme for a small local business or a social enterprise or a hobby site. It looks great, it's easy to use, and it's made by WordPress, so you can rely on it. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.